Hey guys, welcome or welcome back. My name is JC if you haven't seen my face before. Today's video is an April new releases reading vlog. There are so many summery new releases coming out this month and I wanted to make a video reading all of them. I'm already in my swimsuit. We are heading to the pool because it is such a beautiful day. And the first book that we are going to be reading is Abby Jimenez's Just for the Summer. So let's go to the pool and get some reading done. Okay, I just got back from the pool. It was so nice out today. I was out there for a couple hours just kind of like hanging out, laying out, and then picking up this book to read. It was so honestly just perfect out, and it was the perfect start to this because I just felt like it was the first day of summer and I was picking up this summery romance, like hello, just for the summer. Iconic. And I am currently 65 pages in, and the first thing that jumps out to me with this book is how bingeable it is. Like, Abby Jimenez's writing, bingeable. Like, that is the first word that comes to mind because I am typically a slow reader. If I'm just reading physically, I don't have the audiobook to like help me stay focused, I am slow. And so for me to think about how fast I read up to 65 pages, I was like, wow, I feel like that really says something about this story because I am absolutely obsessing over it and her writing. So this has been like such a perfect poolside beach read so far. I'm loving this story. So overall, because I didn't read the back before I jumped into it, but from what I've gathered, we have our main two characters, Justin and Emma, and this is in the same universe as Yours Truly and Part of Your World, I believe. So I think our main male character, Justin, is one of Benny's friends from Yours Truly, if I'm remembering correctly. So that's just the world that we're in. But Justin and Emma have something in common that you would not expect, and it's that they are other people's good luck charms when finding their soulmate or the one. So both these characters will go on dates with people and they end up like breaking up, and whoever they're dating ends up finding their soulmate, like the next person that they date. And so they're like, I'm great, I'm like everyone else's good luck charm, but that's a problem when it comes to me and me trying to, find my person. So she ends up finding like his story in a way, and then they end up connecting, and the premise is that they think that if they date each other, then they will kind of break that curse. So that's the idea, but they are so cute so far, and like I am just obsessing this. Like, he's in IT, she's a travel nurse. I love this. I'm loving him. So, like, I'm swooning, and I love her. Like, she's just fun. She seems cool. Like, the whole travel nurse thing is such a cool concept to me in general, and I'm loving this. I'm loving this. I can't wait to continue it. I will see you guys tomorrow when I pick back up this book. For now, I need to do other things. It's the next day. I just got done with all the errands I need to do. It's my day off of work. It's a beautiful day out. So we are heading back to the pool to do a bit more reading on Just for the Summer. Okay, I just got back from the pool, so I wanted to give a little reading update. I am currently on chapter 14, page 130. So I read another like 60 or so pages. This book is just so bingeable. So bingeable. It's so easy to read. Like, I am flying through these pages, and like I said before, I'm not a fast reader when it comes to just physically reading a book. So for me to dive through this like as fast as I am, I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. Justin, say less. Say less. I'm not going to spoil anything about this book, so just say less. And then Emma, I just like her. Like, she's cool. She's fun. And I like how easygoing she is. I feel like when you're a travel nurse, you know, like, you can only be so, like, uptight and, like, organized. And so Emma, she's just cool. Like, she has some life things going on that I would like to say I'd handle differently, but at the same time, I haven't gone through those things. So who am I to judge, you know? I'm just here for Abby Jimenez to tell me a love story between Justin and Emma, and I am here for it. So I'm going to continue on with this. I may read some more today. I may just put this down while I read some other books, but this book is just so perfect so far. POV, it's yesterday afternoon. You've had a full day. It's like 4 o'clock at this point. You didn't wake up thinking, you know what, I'm going to be filming for the new releases vlog today. You didn't wake up thinking, I'm going to continue reading just for the summer today. But now it's 4 o'clock. And you're feeling, I just want a little bit of a summery romance. I just want a little bit. Just enough to kind of get that fix. Just read maybe 50 pages of the book, and then no problem, you'll update the vlog in the morning. So let me do that. You and I, we last talked on page 130. We are on chapter what, 14? Yeah, so let's just read a couple chapters. Next thing you know, it is page 233, chapter 27. We've read 100 pages. And you're like, okay, well, that wasn't intentional. Maybe let's stop because, girl, you're not filming today. Slow down. And then I just laid back. And I could not put this book down if you paid me. I couldn't do it. It just wasn't possible. I stayed up until like 12:30 finishing this book. I was sat for 275 pages. I'm going to pull up my Goodreads review because I feel like that really articulated what I was thinking and feeling when I closed this book. Simply put, this book just did it for me. I mean, 5 stars. I think it's going to be so hard for Abby Jimenez to top this book for me, but I'm also already highly anticipating whatever book she comes out with next. I just really liked the story. I felt that it was just a fun, summery adult romance. I really liked how she started out this book in a very just like lighthearted, rom-com-y way. The concept is so fun, having 2 people that are kind of just cursed in the love department where everyone they date, they end up breaking up with, and that person ends up finding their soulmate right away. So the fact that then these 2 are like, you know what, we should date, do our kind of routine, and then when we break up, we are gonna find our soulmates next. Like, it's gonna be perfect. Like, that is just such a fun concept to me. And I just love that she started out with this kind of light, quirky start and then slowly introduced heavier topics that are in everyday life. I just really enjoyed it. I thought she balanced it really well. I loved our 2 main characters, Emma and Justin. I adore Justin. How could you not? Like, if he wanted to, he would. And I also really liked Emma and Maddie's friendship. Like, Emma and Maddie are the ones that like do the travel nurse thing together. Everywhere Emma goes, Maddie goes, and I just really like their friendship. I like how Maddie really kind of like, I don't want to say like stand up to Emma, but she's that friend that will like tell you the truth and give you like things at face value, but also know how to support you in hard situations. And you just need a friend like that. Like, we all need that type of friend in our life. And so I really liked seeing their dynamic on top of this whole situation that Emma and Justin got themselves in. It was just so good. It was so good. Now I'm nervous to read the rest of the books in this video. Okay, it's been a couple days and we are ready to pick up our next book, The Rule Book. I'm very excited about this one. I really enjoyed the cheat sheet. I don't know if it's like the time of year I read it, the mood I was in, or what, but I just remember really enjoying it. So I'm excited to dive back into her writing. That's the only book I read by her, so I have high hopes for this. Okay, I have a quick reading update for you guys. I think we last saw each other when I was at the coffee shop earlier, and I was starting this book. So I'm now home. I'm on chapter 11, page 90. I am loving this book. I'm loving it, loving it, loving it. I went into it blind, so I didn't know what like the synopsis was. I knew it was in the same universe as the cheat sheet. That's pretty much all I knew. So I think I mentioned it, but I've only ever read the cheat sheet by her. So I really liked that book because I liked how easy it was to read. It was just so bingeable. I loved the dialogue. I wouldn't say I love like banter because to me it wasn't banter. I always think of that word associated with like kind of two strangers meeting and kind of having that instant attraction and tension between them. And the cheat sheet is like best friends to lovers. So like for them, it's just like I really liked their communication and their back and forth of just knowing each other really well and being comfortable with each other for so long. Like I think that's like the part of it I liked. So I love the way that she wrote that. And I'm getting a very similar vibe here, but there is that banter and there is that tension. So this book, you are following Derek and Nora. So Derek is like the best of the best tight ends, and Nora is a newbie full-time sports agent. Now, the thing though, they dated their senior year of college, and Nora ended things a bit coldly, a bit sudden. And so flash forward to now, she is becoming his new agent. He's holding this grudge about it, and he wants to like make her life hell. Derek, come on, move on. Like, if you're like, come on. But now we have that. We have her being such a competitor and being really great at her job, being so young and given this opportunity to be a full-time agent. And so she's not going to back down from the challenge, but there's immediately like those feelings are still there. That tension is there. I was like reading this book and I'm like, man, did it get hot in here to you? Like, whew, like I'm loving this. It's becoming so easy to read, like so bingeable, just like the cheat sheet. Okay, focus. Why are we struggling? I feel like we're struggling, right? Anyways, I'm loving this. I'm 90 pages in. I don't want to put it down, but I have to go to dinner with my friend, so I'm going to put it down. But yes, it's kind of a fun like change of pace because obviously in the cheat sheet, it's like I said, best friends to lovers. But this is like a sport agent with an athlete, and it's like second chance in a way. Oh gosh, I'm just really liking this.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done.
Okay, I had to stop reading so I could give you guys an update. Otherwise, I was just going to keep reading until I finished it. And I was like, girl, you need to give them more than just one update. You know what I mean? So, we're on page 218, chapter 28. I am eating this up. Like, I am loving this book so much. I am binging it. Like, you guys saw me read some earlier today when I was at the coffee shop, but then I came home and I've been sitting in this giant beanbag for the last couple hours, I don't know, reading this book. I'm obsessed. In short, I'm obsessed. I love Derek. I love Nora. I love their history. I love the way it's just like creeping in. I love that they just have this history of challenging each other and like making little games of stuff. And so now how their roles are intertwined and just what comes of this story, I love that that's playing a role now. Like the way that that chapter just ended, I was like, no, stop. Like, I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. Like, I don't think I have any notes at this point. Like, sometimes giving 5 stars is scary because you're just like, well, I don't know, like, was it 5 stars? But then when you think of a book and it's like, okay, well, if you literally have no critiques, like, why wouldn't it be 5 stars? You know what I mean? So I'm like thinking, I'm like, girl, like, what critique would you have? Like, there is an element of 5 stars being a feeling. But there's another element of like, okay, but if you literally have nothing that you don't like about it, you know? So I'm just like, could this be another 5 star? Like, I'm just, whew, I'm not okay. We're going to see how the last, I don't know, like 100 pages, how, it's like 350 pages. So I have a little over, I have like 130 pages left, I think, ish. So I'm gonna keep reading this. I plan to finish it today, so I will either give you guys like an update like tonight, or I'll just touch base with you guys first thing in the morning. I love this so much.
Oh, the good times just begun. Oh, we know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright.
Okay, it's the next day, and I did finish the rule book last night. I don't think I could have talked about it last night, even if I wanted to, because I did need to sit a little bit with it and just kind of understand really like what rating I wanted to give it and how I felt about the book as a whole. So I'm gonna give this book 4 stars, and I think you and I last talked around page 200. I was literally hyping this book up beyond belief. I was like, is this gonna be another 5-star book? And in the last 150 pages, I don't know how to describe it. Yes, 5 stars are a feeling to me. Like, there's an element of like you can't fault anything, and it's just like a feeling. And I think the more I sat with it, the more I realized like I really enjoyed so much of this book and the characters, and just like watching them interact and have like the banter, the tension, and bringing stuff up through their past, but like in little quirks, like, oh, I know you always did that, and like knowing that, then they know how to respond. Like, I loved that. I think it was just an element of depth. I don't know, like, yes, serious topics were discussed, but I think there's an element of like I didn't relate to any of the characters, not in like a bad way, but I think that's what can elevate a book. Like, it doesn't matter that wait, hold on, does it talk about it in here? Like, just the personality of Nora, I'm not like that. And then Derek, yeah, it doesn't talk about it in here. It is in like trigger warning, I think, stuff, but just what he's battling, like, I don't experience that, and I think that can leave a level of disconnect where then you're not just gonna like fall hard for the characters the entire time. And I think that's just, for me, what made it a 4-star instead of like a 4.5 or 5. But I really enjoy this book, and I think if you just go into it wanting a silly rom-com with like a little touch on some serious stuff, but it's not like super heavy, like, just go into it with that mindset and you will love this book. Like, don't go into it wanting some emotional, like, make you bawl your eyes out romance, you know what I mean? Like, this is just such a fun summer romance book, and I think a lot of people with that mindset going in will enjoy it. It's the next day. It's like actually the next night. It's 6:30 p.m. But I wanted to hop on and film a quick intro clip because I really want to start Powerful, but I don't really want to be like filming tonight. I really just want to rot on the couch and read this, but I at least wanted to hop on and tell you guys I'm starting this, and I will see you in the morning with any update on however much I read. Okay, it's much later now. I have no idea what time it is, but I just finished Powerful, and I feel like I have to talk about it with you guys because, oh my gosh. If you guys watched my Powerless reading vlog that I did, I don't know, a couple months ago, I ended that with how I felt so much for Peyton and Kai, but like I really didn't care about any of the side characters, like not like in a bad way, but it's just like I was never like fearful for them or anything. And so when it came to Adana, anyways, when it came to her being like Peyton's BFF, I liked her, but like didn't really give much thought to her. So I wasn't going to read this book or this novella. And I am so glad that I did because, wow, I just felt so much in 250 pages. Guys, like, I just love this. And we have Mac that we're introduced to, and Mac and Adana's story is just so much. Like, in case you haven't read Powerless, I don't want to say anything that would spoil something. So you're just getting Adana's like kind of POV through the journey we saw in Powerless, and then obviously we've been introduced to Mac as well, and like I just love them so much, and I just felt so much. And I will also say at the end of this book, so at the end of Powerless, they gave you the first chapter to Reckless, and in here you got a prologue and then the first 2 chapters, and oh my god, I was crying all over again. Like, I just love this world so much. I don't know, like I can't pinpoint what it is, but I love it, and I cannot wait for Reckless to come out. I don't know what rating I want to give this. Like, I'm leaning towards like a 4.5 maybe, because I was really just like interested the whole time. It was such an easy read. I was invested. I became invested probably 20% of the way through. Like, I was just like, okay, like let me get introduced really to Adana more and like her personality more. And then so quickly I was like, okay, well, I'm not putting this book down tonight. That's for sure. I'm so glad that I read this. The day is finally here. Happy release date to Funny Story. I picked up the physical copy this morning. I've had the audiobook for about a week now, but I knew that it was so close to the release date at this point that I was like, girl, just wait. Just wait until you have the physical book and you can listen to it alongside reading. So I'm so excited to dive into this book. I'm back on the Love Stack. I have YouTube queued up in the background just to like have a little bit of background noise. I'm crazy like that. So let's dive in to this story. Okay, I just wanted to hop on and give my initial thoughts. I've read the first 3 chapters, only 30 pages in, but I feel like those initial thoughts are kind of always good in a book. I also took off the dust jacket because I was too scared of ruining it. But this book is just so Emily Henry coded. I love that all of her books have the same like feeling because it's just her and her writing, but they're all different. I recently got a comment on one of my posts like, hey, I haven't read any Emily Henry books, like which one do you recommend that I read first? And I'm like, I can't choose that for you because it's so dependent on like what plot you think you would like best, and also it's so dependent on the characters. Like, I loved Happy Place so much, and it's because I related to Harriet, the main female character, way too much, but I know a lot of people didn't like that book, and I think it's like if you can't relate to her characters, it can be a miss for you. So I'm very interested to see how this one progresses because we are following Miles and Daphne is a children's librarian. So I don't really have an interest in children's books, you know, reading to children, all of that, but I love someone that loves books. And as far as like her personality, well, we haven't gotten a ton of it at this point. Like, it's just kind of this introduction, so I'm curious to see more of her personality and seeing if that is something I can relate to. But as far as Daphne and Miles, tough luck, my dude. Tough luck. So those two were in committed relationships. Like, Daphne was literally engaged, about to get married, and her fiance, the night after his bachelor party, I think, he comes home and breaks it off with Daphne because he realizes he's in love with his childhood best friend, Petra, who was Miles' girlfriend. Yeah, so now Daphne has to move out of the house. Miles now has an extra room, needs to pay rent, and so Daphne and Miles are living together. And she's just like, okay, well, I mean, I gotta do this until I can just like move out on my own place, and then Miles could also find a place on his own. But that's our like now 2 main love interests, and I'm very just like curious because also Miles' first introduction, I mean, he's just not the same type of guy that we usually see from Emily Henry based on just certain characteristics. So I'm very intrigued to see the progression of these two and the progression of Miles, because I know people that have read this book as arcs like obsess over these two and like have given this book so many 5 stars. So I'm excited to continue this, but those are kind of like my initial thoughts. Like, I'm intrigued. I am loving another Emily Henry book. Like, her writing is just so her. It's so easy. It flows so well. The chapters are pretty short. I'm liking this book. Okay, it's been a couple hours. I think I'm about like 65% of the way through this book. I'm on chapter 23, page 244. I am really making some way through this book, and I'm really enjoying it. This is definitely a different experience for me compared to all the other Emily Henry books I've read. I think I've always been able to connect in some way to the main female character. And in here, I'm not like, I can't envision myself as her. And I think a lot of the romance books I read, I'd like to be able to do that and kind of envision myself in their shoes, kind of falling in love, right? Like, that's just so fun to me. And I can't relate to her, but it's not taking away from the story. And I think that is a huge testament to Emily Henry's writing in here, because I feel like I'm just really rooting for them and thinking about kind of like, these are two friends I know, and I love them. I love seeing them interact. I love the side characters in here and kind of getting their 2 cents occasionally, because that's kind of how I feel in it. Like, I just feel like I'm a side character in this story, watching Miles and Daphne do their thing. You know what I mean? And I fear that I want a man like Miles. Like, I am adoring him so much, and I just feel like I would love a Miles in my life. I feel like that is I don't know, between him and Gus, I think it's a tough one. Like, Gus just hits different in Beach Read, but Miles in here, like, I feel like I would think I would want someone different as a partner. But then Miles is the type of guy that I would have, where he isn't some kind of like knight in shining armor. Like, on the outside, you would have this perception of him, but like once you get to know him, it's like totally different. I love this. This has been so fun so far. I'm very nervous. At this point in the book, like, this is, well, probably about the 75% mark, but I doubt I'll give another update. I feel like I'll probably just give my update once I finish this book. But it's around like the 75% mark that I start to get nervous in books if I've really liked it up until that point, because that's where just stupid stuff can happen. Like, writers, authors, like, they can just write in stupid stuff, and then I just get upset and it ends up not being like a 5-star. I'm very interested, I guess, to see how I finish this and how I feel about it. Yeah, I don't know, because like, I'll read like 20 pages and like have no kind of like intense feelings. I think a lot of 5 stars, I'm like constantly feeling that. But then the moment these two are interacting, I'm like, my heart rate's increasing. It's getting hot in here. Like, I'm giggling. Like, I don't know, man. I'm curious. I'm just curious about this book and how I'm gonna be afterwards. It's the next day, and I did finish Funny Story. It's gonna be a few days before I can post a review on Goodreads and really understand all of the thoughts and feelings I have with this book, because this was so different for me. I don't know how to explain it, but I still wanted to come on here and give some concluding remarks about it to end off this video. So this book to me was just so different than all of her other books as far as the personality of these two characters, what they're going through, just how they are, and the plot of this. Like, it was just so different. And I think the more I read it, the more I could find connections to both characters, and that definitely helped. I think I talked about it when I was starting this book, or maybe it was when I was talking about the rule book, but a lot of the times when it comes to rating something up to 5 stars, a lot of it for me is about connecting to those characters. And with Emily Henry's books overall, okay, I think I did touch on this, not like I'm saying it, but some books are so like hit or miss for people, because I think Emily Henry's books, you have to be able to relate to those characters in some way to really have that 5-star feeling. And this was so different to me, because I think for a lot of this book, I was just really enjoying their story and like rooting for them as a side character, but I wasn't relating to them and like putting myself in their shoes. But then as I read it more and more, I just began to kind of find these similarities and be able to connect a lot more to them. So it was a very interesting like progression for me reading this story. This was fun. This was so fun. I love the idea. I love the idea of these two existing in the same world as one of her other books. I don't want to say anything. Like, it's not a spoiler. She just said like, oh, one day we went to whatever. And like, we know. We know. You know what I mean? And given that I'm currently rereading my 5-star Emily Henry books, yeah, it's just, it hit. When I read it, I was like, if you know, you know. And it just felt so good. It felt so good. So this was definitely a unique read for me as far as Emily Henry goes. And I'm very interested to see like how the next like month or two of people reading this, like how people like it and just like how people like rate it, what they like about it, what they maybe don't like about it. I'm just very intrigued about everyone's thoughts with this book. So that's kind of my concluding thought. I definitely think you should read it for sure. I just don't exactly know everything I'm thinking and feeling about it yet. I'll probably have a more cohesive thought in the like monthly wrap up, but wow. Okay, so we read 4 books in this video. We read Just for the Summer, we read The Rule Book, then Powerful, and finally Funny Story. I think that this video was such a success. I would love to do it again, maybe in like July. I think July has a lot of new releases coming that I'm very interested in. So let me know if I should do another one of these just monthly new releases reading vlogs in July. With that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one.